We're here at the YTexas Summit at AT&T Stadium. I'm Amy, joined by my co-host Becca, and we're here with Harrison Keller. Thank you so much for joining us. Will you tell us a little about your role?
Thanks, Amy. So I'm Commissioner of Higher Education for Texas, and delighted to be here today at the YTexas Summit.
Higher education, so you cover all the universities in Texas.
Yeah, so we're the only entity that's charged to coordinate across all our colleges and universities. So I work with all our public universities, our independent universities. So we've, of course, Texas is vast, and so we have a lot of colleges and universities. And then also we run the financial aid for the state and maintain some other functions for the state, like our combined educational and workforce data. And then we also play a policy role. So we work with the state legislators, the governor's office, and work closely with our friends at Texas Workforce Commission and Texas Education Agency.
Thank you.
How have you seen the industry grow over the last couple of years, especially with COVID coming in and changing everything up?
Boy, it did change everything up. So what we saw is that changes that were already underway in our economy all of a sudden were changing faster than anyone anticipated. Mm-hmm. And so we had hundreds of thousands of Texans not only out of work, but folks who are going to need additional skills, sometimes just to get a similar job in the same industry. So we're projecting right now that by 2030, we're going to have about 60% of the jobs across Texas are going to require education beyond high school diplomas. So that might mean a technical school, a certificate, it could mean a community college degree, as well as a 4-year degree. But our economy is moving in the direction of knowledge, skills, information, and more credentials faster than anyone expected.
Sure. I mean, especially with, growing education costs. You said you're in the financial aid genre as well. Do you feel like that's getting just trickier to manage as far as policies and things like that?
Yeah, I know that affordability is a challenge for a lot of families. And, what's interesting in Texas as opposed to a lot of other places is the big challenge is not really tuition increases at our public colleges or universities. So if you look over the last 5 years, the tuition increases have been pretty modest, pretty flat. In fact, we didn't have any tuition increases this year at our public universities, but what we've seen is the cost of living has increased. Price of an apartment in Austin and College Station up here in Dallas is accelerated faster than anybody expected. So that's meant that total cost of higher education has made higher education feel out of reach. And so one of the things we're working on closely with our policymakers is make sure we're going to have the state-funded financial aid there. So students will be able to take advantage of these opportunities, make sure they've got the training they need for the jobs that we have today and the jobs of the future.
That's great. I'm so glad that you're there to help them and help education along. Amy, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I did want to ask you, we're hearing a lot of buzz about technical schools. Are you seeing an explosion of those here in Texas?
So we are actually, like our Texas State Technical College enrollments have been way up. Also, what I'm hearing from a number of our community colleges is they're seeing a lot of demand for workforce education training. And so that's an area that it's really important that we lean into because, again, our employers need a different set of skills. They need folks to have more skills beyond a high school diploma. So that's going to be one of the important big themes over this next year in Texas and with our Texas policymakers and in this next legislative session. We've got to educate many more people to higher standards than we've ever done before, especially around those technical credentials.
Absolutely. And that's what the Texas Blockchain Council, specifically our Bitcoin Mining Foundation, is trying to put more of these into schools and technical colleges so young people can start learning how to repair, how the miners work, and all of that. So hopefully... That's
so important. If we can, first of all, it's really important to be able to engage talented students earlier in the pipeline, make sure they're going to continue their education. They've got a clear line of sight, not just to get a credential, but to a good job. And then if they can come out with skills that are going to be directly applicable to what employers need, then they've got a really powerful leg up. And it's great for the employers. It's really important for the students and their families. So I applaud the work of the Blockchain Council and really appreciate the partnership with y'all.
Well, thank you. And thank you for joining us. Becca, did you have anything else before
I don't. Just thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thanks very much.
Hey, it's Amy with the Texas Blockchain Council. Thanks for watching. We've got more great content. Subscribe here. Like here. What am I even pointing at? Nobody knows. See you next time.